Hi there, my name is Andrew Spikes and I work at churchmarketing.is. I want to take just a second to talk about the role that social media plays for your church and your ministry. The word ministry is a Greek word and it means to serve. In the New Testament, ministry was seen as a service to God or a service to others in God's name. Ministry is what we do for God's glory based on where He's placed us, what He's gifted us with, and what He's called us to do. Ministry can, could, and should happen where people are, right? So where are people? Well, they're right where you are right now. They're on social media. In fact, there are 4.2 billion people in the world who use social media. That number has grown by 13%, or 490 million people, in the last 12 months alone. Now, the average social media user spends 2 hours and 25 minutes per day on social media. That is a crazy statistic. Think about it. Let's say you work for 8 hours and you sleep for 8 hours and you have quote unquote free time for 8 hours. Well, that free time is spent taking kids to soccer practice, cheerleading, preparing meals, hanging out with friends and family, watching Netflix and other movies. But within all that, we can still find 2 hours and 25 minutes to spend on social media. Let's also talk about your congregation and your members and your attendees. Let's say that your average attendee, your average member attends one service per week for 2 hours. There are 168 hours in the week. If an individual spends 2 hours with you inside the four walls of your church, that means that they're spending the other 166 hours outside of the four walls of your church. Not only that, they're probably spending 2 hours and 25 minutes a day on social media, right? The 166 hours out of the week is 98.8% of their week. Now let's talk about your church. Let's talk about your ministry. If you're like most churches in America, you have been hit with one of the most challenging instances that the local church has faced in our lifetime. You're also probably wondering and thinking through what it looks like going forward. Many churches chose to spend time and develop resources and digital materials to help with their congregation and stay connected. In the future, we will go back to in-person services. Is that 100% or is that a hybrid model? That's probably some questions that you have. You're also probably thinking, out of all the things that I have to do between discipleship and counseling and preparing for my weekend services and my weekend messages, training leaders and staff meetings, with all this stuff happening, what role does social media play as a priority against all those things? Well, if ministry is doing something for God's glory to serve others, and those others are on social media for 2 hours and 25 minutes per day, and 98.8% of their week is spent outside of the four walls of your church, social media should be a priority. That means you gotta find a way to do it with excellence. You gotta find a way to do it well, to crush it, to connect with people, and to think about social media as a real arm of your ministry. It's no longer just a communication or a marketing tool. It is a relationship tool that you build and that you use to connect with your congregation and to find new people. Okay? So then you say, well, Andrew, you say this is a priority. You say it's a big deal. I don't have time for this. We would highly recommend that you find a way to get someone else to help you, right? To delegate this out, someone who is an expert, either in graphic design or content writing and planning and strategy. You find someone or a group of people who are awesome at this because it's that important. So you can either find a team like ours to do it, or you can find, someone else there locally. But whatever path you take, we highly recommend that you focus on it, you do it with excellence, because that's where people are. A couple of stats just to remember. There are 168 hours in the week. 98.8% of those for the average church member is spent outside of the four walls of your church. There are 4.2 billion people who use social media. Those users spend on average 2 hours and 25 minutes per day on social media. You should be there. You should do it with excellence, and we're rooting for you. If this was helpful, we would love to help some of your friends, some of your other ministry partners, some of your other friends and family members. So tag them below. Share this within your news feed. Get the word out and let some other people hear this content. If it's helpful for you, it's likely helpful for them. We're rooting for you. We're praying for you, and we hope you have a great rest of your week. God bless.